Jesus, as he's training his disciples, really has to pound into them this whole idea of humility. He says, if you want to be first, you're going to have to be last. He says the kings of this world, they lord it over each other, and their high officials exercise authority over each other. But among you it must not be so. The one who wants to be first must be last. The one who wants to be, you need to learn to be the slave, the servant of all. So it was an issue that he talked about a lot. It was an issue that his followers struggled with. I think sometimes we think humility is the same as self-abasement. So in other words, if I don't want to be proudful, I should just say how bad I am and how incompetent I am and how horrible I am. C.S. Lewis makes a very interesting observation. He says there's two kinds of pride. There's the pride of the whale, which is the pride that I'm the greatest, I'm the biggest. But he also says there's the pride of the worm, the pride that says I'm the worst, I'm horrible. He said what's common in both of those, the common characteristic is the word I, is the focus on self, is the drawing of attention to me. And I can draw attention to me based on how great I am. I can also draw attention to me based on how horrible I am, but I still am self-centered. The core of humility is a lifting of our eyes off ourselves and putting them on God and on others. It's the forgetting of oneself. And so someone who's truly humble will not think necessarily less of themselves, they'll think of themselves less. In other words, they just won't be thinking about themselves. They'll be thinking about God, they'll be thinking about other people. Someone who's overly absorbed with how horrible they are can be just as prideful in a worm kind of way as someone who is in a whale kind of way. And so when Jesus is teaching this, is actually right in the center of that he focuses on two things towards the end of the Gospels. First of all, he says, if you want to come after me, you're going to have to deny yourself, take up your cross, and follow me. You have to lose your life. And so one of the antidotes to pride is death, is actually saying, I'm actually going to kill myself. I'm going to lose myself. I'm not going to try to protect myself. I'm not going to try to preserve myself. And we're actually then working against the instinct of self-preservation is one of the strongest instincts we have as people. But he said, he turned that instinct on its end, and he said the way you preserve your life is actually losing it. It's in dying that you gain. And so that the path of death, I want to die so that I'm raised with him, so I experience resurrection life, is one of the only paths to true humility. If I'm dead, then I'm not going to spend much time thinking about myself. If this life that I live now is I've been crucified with Christ, and it's no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me, then there's just a natural antidote to being prideful because I'm dead and he's alive. And the other antidote that Jesus also taught is this whole concept of servant leadership, that the one who wants to be first, the one who wants to gain his life needs to lose it. The one who wants to be first really needs to be last and be the servant of all. That the leader's role really is to serve. And when Jesus did that in very concrete ways, like washing the disciples' feet, he was actually showing them the path of humility, which is the path of service. I lead by serving, I serve by leading. It's actually, I use the leadership role as a place to lift other people up and meet their needs rather than to exalt myself. And that works against our sinful nature, works against our natural tendency. It's countercultural, many times counterintuitive, counter-sin nature, but it is the way of Christ, and it's the way that leads us to true humility.